I don't know about you guys, but I prefer rides on smooth surfaces.
That's why Manscaped developed the
How you doing, guys? Big Mac Dan School here today, back with another video for you, another live stream. I'm going to be getting a little bit of work done on the Gnawzilla today, hopefully. Get a little bit more paint on the old howdah, however you say it, and progress a little further. On the stream on Sunday, I was working on a super secret project, and just keeping track on the skipped frames there, so it looks quite laggy this stream. So I really need to have a word with my internet provider, because I've got like top speed internet, and I keep not every time, but recently on a couple of streams I've had a few issues with lagging, and it's jumpy. But I think it's my my computer, potentially. It's not powerful enough for the second camera, which is causing a bit of an issue, I think. Got 5 viewers in already, so thanks very much for joining us. Just a quick roll call, as I like to do. Got Marcos Castellanos joining us before the stream started. I don't know if he's around now, but I'm sure he'll pop in again at some point. G the Hypersapien popped in, but he's most likely going to be asleep when this starts, so he's probably asleep now. Very late over there for him. Gary Knox popped in, and he'll be popping back in a bit. Can't wait to see the progress, he says. I'll only be streaming till about 8 o'clock again UK time. I'll be watching some football after that, so just going to try and get a little bit of work done on this howdah. And you know what, stupidly I've not even prepared my paints, so I've not got any paints or water here, so I'm going to have to go back to the holding screen in a second. How you doing, the bar? Join us in the chat as well, and of course Rivets and Daco, welcome everyone. I've got a shirt on that I'm wearing for probably the 3rd time on a stream. This shirt, this is my flamingo shirt. I'll do a little dance for you, flamingo. I need to stop having a bath just before I go live with the stream. Marcos Castellanos, What's all that about? That's what people think when they join the stream and I'm doing that. But yes, what was I saying before I popped in? Oh yeah, I've not got anything ready, so I'm going to have to put the holding screen back up and go grab some water so I can at least wash my brushes out. So I'm just going to do that now. Chat amongst yourselves, and I'll be back with the desk down view and everything for you. I need to get over here. Where are we? Where's this holding screen? Let's go to the be right back one. Right, I'll be right back, guys. Guess who's back? Back again. Big Mac's back. Tell a friend. Guess who's back? 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 I'm not singing anybody's song. Right. So, yeah, like I said, I'm going to be working on the Gnawzilla today, so I'll get the desk down cam for you. I need to... This is in a really awkward position for me at the minute because I'm just going to pull my monitor across if I can without knocking any miniatures off the desk, because it's just right in my field of view to the stream setup, the sources, where I need to switch things round. But we can deal with that now. Boom. There we go. We've dealt with it. Perfect. So this is the howdah. That's the underside of it. You're not really going to see that, so I'm just going to leave that red, I think. I had an idea. The idea was, I don't think it's going to look very good if I try it, but I had an idea, but I think I might do this on the gargantuan squigoth I've got. Did I ever tell you I've got a gargantuan squigoth? I'm pretty sure I did. Or I might even, when I get the Forge World one, just keep the howdah in... Still dropping loads of frames. There's a little bell that goes off when I drop frames, and it's really irritating. Oh, I need to turn off or silence my phone because it's going to alert me to put the bins out. Yeah, what I was thinking on a squigoth of mine in the future is basically do the howdah in like a rusted white. Sort of like Death Guard almost, because I've seen in like some Forge World art book, not art book, a Forge World book, a gargantuan with like a white howdah, and it looked really good. It was Death Skulls, which mine will be, but what I'll do for the time being, I think, is leave the front white, this sort of toothy bit here, jaw bit, and that bit as well, and maybe paint around it in different colours, and then we'll see where we go from there. Because as you can see, I've made no further progress on this. I need to, before the next stream as well, need to work out how to flip that camera around, because that's going to annoy me. But you're just going to have to bear with me as it's upside down now. Good thing is, you're not going to be looking at this really. So I'll move that to one side, and I'll put this here. It doesn't really matter what orientation that's in. So that's why it's a good thing that you're not looking at that. I've not got any paintbrushes or anything. Right, so I need my palette. What else do I need? Everybody put in the chat what I need to start painting. Palette, paintbrushes, paints, water. That's about it, isn't it? Probably. Let's cut these sharp. Oh, dearie me. What's that? Shh. So, as I grab my paintbrushes, I'll see if I can read some of the chat from this far away. It's quite far away from me at the moment. We've got Alex joining us in the chat once again. Thank you very much for joining the stream. The Bard, I've already greeted you. Gary Knox, rather, not Marcus Knox. Gary Knox and Marcos Castellanos have just become a hybrid, and they are now Marcos Knox. Well, I know Gary Knox, but I wasn't aware Marcos Knox. I thought he just came in and said, "Whoa," every now and again. That was a really bad pun. Never mind. Okay. So, what's going on in the chat before I get started on anything? Because I'm not really sure what I want to do with this howdah yet. I think that's one of the reasons I've not started painting it yet, other than this little section of metal. Alex greeting everyone, saying good evening. Everyone greeting each other. One and all legends, says Gar. Yes, indeed. Dan, the legends in the chat tonight. Ayup Alexandre, Ayup Gary. Gar, what a super legend, mate. Seen Essex Boys vid? You are a true gem, mate. Oh, I'll have to watch that. Let's separate that. This blue tacker should really take off at some point. But let's separate that for the time being, I think. Or should we keep it together? No, let's keep it together. I've changed my mind. Was thinking coffee, rum, drink. My bin's out already, says the Bard. Hey there, beautiful people. We have a wonderful Wolf Brother Mythos in the chat. I'm assuming it's Mythos, and Freak isn't masquerading as the Wolf Brother. Although Freak, I've heard, is getting into wolves in a big way recently. So, check out Frost and Fist's recent live stream, where it wasn't really Frost and Fists. It was, it was a Frost and / Fist. And a Big D. So that was a really cool live stream to watch. A slightly different spin on the Frost and Fist vibe, but definitely cool to watch still. Very enjoyable, actually. Mythos, don't come back to your live streams, mate. Just just let D run the show. Coffee for Mythos. I've just got my water myself. In a rum bottle, if that helps. Another legend slips into the chat. Mythos, my man. Hello, Frost and Fist. Right, so, well, I should have really come up with a plan for this before I started, before I whipped it out and, wanted to go at it furiously. But I don't know exactly what I want to do. Now, part of me wants to make this look more like an orky face. I'll turn it that way so you can see the orientation of it. It does look a bit like an orky face. I need to sort out the focus on the cameras as well, don't I? I can't do that now because it's too much of a highly technical thing that I'll fail at, no doubt. But yeah, this, I kind of want to make it look like an orky face, so I'm wondering, now I shouldn't do this really. I'm wondering if I should put in these recessed areas, put blue in there, but I don't think, sorry, not blue, I meant green, but I don't think that'll work because I've got no other green on the miniature. So what I'm thinking is blue in the recessed area, as if it's like painted orc death skull flesh. Yeah, let's just make a start attacking this miniature and see what happens from then on. From that point forward. So I'll put some blue in there, and I'm going to put some blue on this panel here, leave the raised checks in white, and then some blue on here, but then have that a different colour. Yeah, let's start. I'll do it in halves so it's not so daunting for me, I think. I will keep this brush because, wow, look at that. Both sides of that palette absolutely covered. I'm going to use this side. Haha. Yeah, I'm going to use this brush because it's a little smaller than the other. I'm going to grab some Kahlua coffee flavoured rum. Excellent stuff. Clint's reaction. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to watch Essex Boy's video to find out what all this chat is about in the chat and see what Clint has been reacting to. I imagine, I don't know, but I imagine it's some kind of generous gift, generous donation, something like that. I'll have to definitely have to check out his latest video to see what's happened. I'm just going to turn my other phone on as well. There's probably going to be loads of noise when I turn this on though. I say my other phone, this is my special phone. This is my old phone that I use in videos when I need to be seen typing on videos. Look at it. Oh, it's a beauty. With a big crack or a couple of big cracks across the screen. This I dropped from about... HTCs are normally quite robust, but this I dropped from a good 10 feet in the air and it landed right on the corner. But it didn't crack properly at first. Yeah, it didn't crack properly at first. I didn't even notice there was a crack, but then eventually I noticed a crack develop across the screen, and then another one developed later on. It created like a weakness that developed. But anyway, let's crack on with the painting. Oh, I've got some purple contrast paint now. I forgot about that. I would like to test that out, but I'm not going to be testing it out on this. Shake it up. Yes, I made it. Sorry I'm late. How are you, Mechdan Schoolbig? I am very good, thank you. I'm just shaking my paint, as you can see. Nothing, no funny business going on there. How's the Chatteroo? Oh, how's the Chatteroo? I was like, what's the Charatu? I was reading it as some kind of a crazy French word. But Chatteroo, how is the Chatteroo? It looks all right to me. Everyone looks like they're having a grand old time at the minute. Oh, do not disturb's on that, so it shouldn't be alerting me for anything. Excellent stuff. Have I got the right blue there? Yeah, I think so. Is it okay if I just beatbox all the time instead of playing any random music? My mouth's not wet enough. I need more water in my mouth, I think. Oh yeah. Oh, I've caught the top bit there. Naughty, naughty. Yeah, it's a very, very blue, that, isn't it? I've been admiring your runt herd, Spud. I think it's excellent, by the way. I think I said in the comments it's superb, that runt herd. It's an absolute beast of a runt herd. Absolute beast. Oh. See, I've got a fair bit of paint on my brush now. I've got to push it into all these corners without touching the raised bit too much. What I should have done is painted this thing blue first and then painted the raised areas white. Would have made a bit more sense, but I kind of just I undercoated it the way I did, and that's the way it goes sometimes. You make mistakes and you just work around them. Work around your errors. It's not the end of the world. I can just I'm probably going to paint over with a different colour on here, but it's going to be like a light colour. So maybe a Celestial Grey or something like that. Oh. The annoying thing about this is I'm going to probably talk a little less on the stream because I'm going to have to concentrate in these sort of recessed areas. It's like doing detail painting without actually doing detail painting. I'm just doing base coats, but I don't want to touch those raised areas too much. Beatbox away, says Mythos. You know, if I was a little more confident with it, I would. I'm going to watch this back later on when I'm in bed or something. I'm like, oh my gosh, what did I think I was doing? Oh, did you hear? I think in what year are we in now? 2024. I think breakdancing's going into the Olympic Games, isn't it? That'll be interesting. I thought to myself, I don't really consider breakdancing a sport, but of course it requires a great amount of athleticism, and people do it competitively. It requires a massive amount of skill and creativity to come up with better routines and better moves and stuff. So it's definitely as much a sport as something like gymnastics and rhythmic gymnastics with floor routines and stuff like that, and synchronized swimming and stuff. I don't know if there's going to be different events in it, so whether there be team events and just solo. I imagine there will be, but I'm not entirely sure. But it's always interesting to see what gets included in the Olympics every time they announce something new for the Olympics, I think. Because let's face it, running, which is like your main Olympic sport, really, isn't it? Track and field, and in particular running, whether it's sprinting or marathon running or whatever. There's something compelling about watching a marathon. There's something exciting about watching sprinters explode out of the blocks and stuff. There is something exciting about it. But it's not the most exciting sport, not the most engaging. And the fact that they have heat after heat after heat of sprints and stuff, it's kind of like the same thing over and over again almost, isn't it? But I think I lost it. Oh yeah, but putting something like breakdancing in creates a bit of excitement. I think some people might not like watching dancing. I quite like watching dance routines and stuff, so I think I'll probably check it out when it eventually comes around, that Olympics. I think it's the 2024 one anyway. I know skateboarding's in the Tokyo Olympics, which was supposed to be this year, isn't it? Assuming it goes ahead next year. Let's hope it does. I think there's a young British hopeful. I say British. She's growing up in America, but she's representing Britain, isn't she? She's only like 13 or something. Sky something? I can't remember her name. I saw her on Tony Hawk's Instagram not too long ago, but she seems like a ridiculously talented kid for her age. I think it's Sky something. Somebody in the chat may be able to tell me. Wife calling, back soon. You don't want to keep the wife waiting, do you, Gar? Actually, paint on the brush during this show. Oh, actual paint on the brush during this show. I know, it's such a rarity. Normally, I'm just chatting away, talking to. I was going to thin this down, but I just realised I put water on my palette and then just left the palette and just started going straight from the pot. That's the thing with contrast painting. So sometimes it's better. Especially with darker colours when you're painting on a lighter surface, it's better in my opinion to go with more and try and do as few brush strokes as possible, because you get more of an even coverage the fewer brush strokes you do with the contrast paints. If golf is a sport, dancing is. Absolutely, yeah. Totally agree with. Like, golf requires a certain amount. I used to watch a lot of Soccer AM when Tim Lovejoy was on it. He's on Sunday Brunch now on Channel 4. But he used to say, or that someone maybe said to him once, if you have to change your footwear for it, it's a sport. So let's say you go to work in a pair of boots, or you go to work in... just like everyday footwear, like whether it's trainers or sneakers, or whether it's something along the lines of smart office shoes, something like that. If you have to change your footwear for it, then if it requires specific footwear, or for you specifically to not use footwear, then it's a sport, really. So, so something like swimming is a sport because you're not wearing footwear. Something like darts isn't a sport because you don't need specific footwear for darts, or like other than if there's dress codes. but you could just wear like smart office shoes, couldn't you? If there is a dress code for particular darts tournaments or something. Whilst it requires a lot of hand-eye coordination, the more you play, the better you get theoretically with something like darts, because you get more familiar with the distance from the hockey to the board and stuff. It's not actually a sport because you don't change your footwear. Obviously, there's a certain amount of joking with that, a certain amount of humour in saying that, but it's a fair point actually, because most sports you do have to change your footwear for, I'd say. And in golf, whilst yes there are golf shoes, of course there are, really you don't have to change your footwear to play golf, do you? So yeah, I'd agree that's one of the questionable sports. That we look at something like Formula 1 racing as well though, it's a sport, of course it is, but you look at drivers and how much influence does a driver have in them winning a race. I'd say there's far less influence in a driver winning from a driver in deciding who wins the race nowadays than there was in the past years ago, because we saw at the weekend just gone, I can't remember what race it was, but Lewis Hamilton, I think, sat the race out and someone was racing in his place, a young British kid. I think he's a young British kid anyway. And he nearly won the race because he's in the fastest car. So he has to strive to, he has to do a lot less. No doubt he's a talented driver compared to other drivers and stuff. But the only way to truly get a fair Formula 1 race would be for everybody to race in the same car. Because different manufacturers, different teams basically, they change things to do with suspension, to do with aerodynamics of the car. They've got different engineers and stuff. And there's far less say from the driver in deciding who wins a race than there should be, really, for it to be considered a sport on the part of the driver, I'd say. Now, there's a massive physical exertion on the driver, and no doubt the more you race in a certain car especially, the better you'll get. However, I could argue that Formula 1's not really a sport, like motorcar racing basically, so Indy cars and Formula 1 and stuff like that. But I'd just be doing it kind of tongue-in-cheek if I was going to argue that point, because I've no doubt I would be dripping with sweat if I attempted to race one of those cars for any length of time, if I could even keep it on the track. There's definitely a lot of skill required to do that. Isn't it weird? I'm talking about sport on a little man painting stream. I think something like eating sausage rolls should be an Olympic sport. Exactly. I totally agree with that. Vegan or otherwise. There are, well, obviously everyone knows this, but there are eating competitions around the world as well, aren't there? Like extreme eating competitions, which are always interesting. There was a film when I was a kid. Was it Stand By Me? Where, I think it was Stand By Me. They're telling a story about this guy who was in an extreme eating competition. And people were taking the mickey out of him because he was a big fella. I think this is the gist of the story. People were taking the mickey out of him because he's a big fella. It's a pie eating competition or something. So he's eating as much pie as he can, but he's, I think he'd also taken something to make himself throw up before the thing. So because everyone was taking the mickey out of him, he wanted to basically humiliate everyone in the audience who was laughing at him and stuff. And he ended up throwing up all over the audience. Brilliant stuff. I think it was in Stand By Me, but I'm not too sure. Could have been in The Sandlot or something. Has anybody seen The Sandlot? I love that film. When I was a kid, I rented that so many times. In the UK, it was called The Sandlot Kids, because I think we don't really have Sandlots in the UK. But yeah, I think in America it's called The Sandlot. I watched it again a couple of years ago. Found a stream of it. I was like, yes, I'll watch that now. Fantastic. Yeah, I seriously loved that film when I was a kid. It got me playing baseball and like slightly interested in baseball. Or I say playing baseball, not in a big way, just like swinging a bat. My friend throwing a ball to me and me swinging a bat. And I put a ball through a church window once, and then we ran for our lives. My family loves watching The Sandlot. It's a great film. It's such a good film, that. It's like a coming-of-age story of this boy who moves into a new neighbourhood. He's got no friends, but the local kids are playing baseball on this sandlot behind some houses. And then for anyone else that's not seen it and wants to know whether or not they might be interested in it, I'll give you a brief synopsis. So to make friends, he goes and hangs out with him a bit. They can see he wants to play, so they invite him to play. And then a ball gets hit over into this garden that they don't like going in. And he says, "Oh, my stepdad's got a ball," so he goes and grabs a ball out of the stepdad's office and brings it back. They start playing with it, and then without going into too much detail, it's a very special ball. Needless to say, the ball ends up getting lost, and then they have to try and retrieve it and avoid any dangerous scenario that might present itself, and they come up with all kinds of contraptions to try and retrieve it and stuff, and it's fantastic. Really great film, that. It's like it's got a touch of the Goonies about it. It's got a touch of a few different films, but it really was one of my favourite films when I was a kid. It's weird to think a film about baseball for an English kid. A film about baseball sort of captured our imaginations, but I think it was also a certain fascination with American culture as well in my youth, and me and a couple of lads grew up with on the same road as. We all had that kind of... we were all drawn to American culture in that way. This is very messy, this paint job at the minute. But it's looking alright, it's not looking too bad. Said I was going to paint in there, didn't I? But will I? Yeah, I think I'll paint that and that. Let's just have a quick blast through the chat and see where we're up to. Like I said, if you missed it when I said it at all, I'll be streaming till around for another 50 minutes or so, probably just under another 50 minutes. That's why I started it earlier. I wanted to make sure you got at least an hour of me streaming and painting. Quick blast through the chat, though, like I said. Speed painting could be an Olympic sport. Speed painting definitely could be an Olympic sport. It requires a lot of skill, a lot of hand-eye coordination, and a change of footwear. Well, I'm painting in flip-flops at the minute, so yeah, potentially. I've changed my footwear, but not specifically for this task, though. There's some cracking painters on Twitch these days. Goddamn high art, exactly. Yeah, I've started watching Let's Make It Orky regularly when she's on. I'll close that. That's a habit she has of leaving bottles open and stuff, and it really, like, it doesn't annoy me, but I'm thinking, no, don't do it. They're going to dry out. But I think she's in the process of transferring everything over to dropper bottles now, which I'm very reluctant to do with all my paints. Because I actually don't... I'm one of the few people that doesn't mind the GW pots. Darts is a game, says Gar. We're attacking Gar's favourite sport. Oh, darts is a game, sorry. No, darts is a game, not a sport, says Gar. Yeah, I think it's fun to play, definitely, and it does require hand-eye coordination, but there's lots of activities in life that require hand-eye coordination. So... yeah, you don't need to change your footwear to do it. So that's my argument. It's got to be a game, not a sport. Snooker, says the Bard. So snooker, you don't have to change your footwear to play snooker, do you? You can play in whatever you walk into the snooker hall with. As long as they let you through the door, you can play in that. So yeah, snooker's not a sport either. I'm gonna if Iddick Bear comes into this chat now and finds out I've been saying snooker's not a sport, he's gonna absolutely leather me, thrash me with an inch of my life. Yeah, he's a big fan of snooker, is Nick. I don't know why I was speaking like that. He's a big fan of snooker, is Nick. Is our Nick. Archery doesn't require specific shoes, so archery, therefore, it's a skill, it's a challenge, but it's not a sport. Snooker's a fun game. Yeah, snooker's good. Snooker's good, pool's good, anything like that. It's just fun to play, isn't it? Snooker on a full-size snooker table, though, with regular size snooker balls is hard. when you, especially when you've not, like, I used to play pool a fair bit when I was a kid, going on holiday and going to amusement arcades and stuff like that, wherever there was a pool table, or going to the pub when pubs started getting pool tables in the UK. And we used to play all the time when we were kids, so we were reasonably competent. But then growing up and not playing it so much, and then attempting to play snooker probably for the first time of attempting to play any cue sport for a good number of years, probably like 8 years, something like that. I attempted to play snooker and I was terrible at it. My angles were all off. I couldn't judge the run of the table. I couldn't judge the bouncing off the rail and stuff like that. And it was just like, oh, I was terrible. But it's still, even when you're bad at snooker or pool, I can still get enjoyment from it. It's the same with me in football. I'm not particularly good at it, but I do just like running around and trying to get involved with stuff. It's just one of those things. I've never been amazingly talented at any one sport, but I was all right at rugby in school, and I got enjoyment out of that. And I was kind of all right with the cricket bat in my hand as well, and with the baseball bat as well. But I never played baseball, the proper game of baseball. It was just like someone throwing the ball to me, I was hitting it, or vice versa. We sort of made up small versions of the game because there was only ever like maybe 5, 6 of us, something like that, playing. So we just kind of made up alternative rules. Never played with real rules. Mythos saying, I'm not into golf myself, but I would classify it as a sport in the same way that archery is an Olympic sport. It's not as intense as track and field, but those sports are about precision and skill. Exactly, yeah. When, like, it's all tongue-in-cheek when I say darts isn't a sport, snooker's not a sport. It's all tongue-in-cheek. Archery, of course, is a sport. It requires a great amount of skill, a great amount of hand-eye coordination, and a massive number of hours practice. And that takes us back to painting and speed painting. Painting, to get really good at it, for most people, requires a massive number of hours of practice. So theoretically, you could, if you had to change your footwear for it, definitely class painting as a sport. But no, it's painting's a skill, painting's an art form, and something like archery that's got shares a lot of similarities in terms of what you have to do to get good at it. That is obviously a sport, but it's a fun thing to do anyway. Whether or not it's a sport, it's a fun thing to do. Well, you know what? I've never tried archery, but I imagine I'd be very bad at it. No, I'd be all right at it. We'd see. I agree with Mythos. My family loves watching The Sandlot, says Marcos. Yeah, going back to The Sandlot. Fantastic film. Watch it if you've not already done so. Track it down. Find it on a streaming service or something. I always thought it was a Disney film, but it's not a Disney film. It's a great film, but I can't remember. It might be Universal, I think, that put it out. I'm not sure. Flight of the Navigator, says the Bard. Flight of the Navigator is... Watching that back, though, now I'm grown up, watching that back, I feel like it's just a little bit slow-paced. But it's like one of those films from your childhood that... what's that one called with the alien in? Something and Me. Something and Me. I can't remember. Somebody might be able to remind me in the chat, but there's a film with an alien and a kid. Meg and Me or something like that. I can't remember. It's like an alien and a kid, and the alien's like really weird looking, puffed out cheeks and sticky out ears, and I think maybe like a little bit of a proboscis for a mouth kind of thing, but not a proper proboscis. It's more like pursed lips. I think it might be Meg and Me. Let me have a quick Google. But that was a great film when I was a kid. Gilbert, E.T. Not E.T. No, E.T. I've never been a huge fan of E.T. really. I've just showed you all my pattern. If you find my phone, you can break into it. I think it's called Meg and Me or Mog and Me or something. Meg and Me. Nope, that's a boutique. Something and Me. I can't remember. I'll have to find it another time because I'm just going to be sat there searching while you're watching me search. Mech Dan Big Skull, says Robert Marshall. Indeed it is Dan Big Mech Skull. Mostly Zen says, hey Dan Skull, Marcos and everyone. Hey, mostly Zen. Let's see, let's scroll back up. This chat is flying tonight, getting people active in here. Right, so Flight Navigator used to watch Neverending Story over and over. Yeah, Neverending Story was another one of those that we'd get from Blockbuster when I was a kid. Oh, Blockbuster. Bad times. Blockbuster should have bought Netflix, obviously, when they had the chance. Maybe they'd still be around. Frost and Fist, you heathen, Dan Skull. I am a heathen. What are you going to do about it? Come over here and say that. It's kicked into Darth Vader's yard. Exactly. The ball. Yeah, it's... what a film. What other films did I rent as a kid? No, I think we started renting games as well on the SNES. And we used to rent like a game a few times in a row. And we always used to get the Toy Story game and play that. Toy Story game and Micro Machines. We love Micro Machines. But a number of games as well. War of the Buttons is a good Wii film set in Ireland. War of the Buttons, I've seen that. I know I have. I know I've seen that, but I can't remember it. I think is it like a gang of lads kind of thing, and they have a war against another gang of lads or something like that. As a group of lads. When I say a gang of lads, when I say gang anyway, most of the time I don't mean an actual gang of organised criminals or anything like that. I just mean like a group of lads or group of friends. You're killing me, Smalls. Oh yeah, we've read that one. I'm sure you remember Wendy Peppercorn and Squints in that movie. Yes, I do indeed. The lifeguard. I couldn't remember the word then. She was a lifeguard, wasn't she, at the pool? But yeah, when they went to the pool, that pool scene and everything, and the whole. Oh, I'm not gonna speak too much about it, but definitely, if you've not seen The Sandlot, guys, you have to find that film, seek it out, and watch it. It's a great film. Maybe it's me looking back with rose-tinted specs, but I watched it a few years ago, and I still really enjoyed it. There's certain things that you can go back and watch, and they don't have the same. They don't give you the same feeling, but for me that really gave me the same feeling, so I think it's just genuinely a really good film. So definitely, if you've not seen it, and if you've got kids especially, watch it with them. It's an exciting kids sort of adventure film that all takes place in their local neighborhood, and it's like a summer fair, and it's like they go through like these various situations at a local pool, and it's really good. War of the Buttons, yeah. War of the Buttons, I'm going to have to Google that one. I'm pretty certain I've seen it, but I'm not entirely sure. Right. Is lawn darts a sport? I don't know. Lawn darts. You know, I've never actually properly seen lawn darts. I hear people talk about them all the time. Wrestling commentators like to use the term. Like he tossed him like a lawn dart when someone gets thrown and they sort of fly straight like that and then land down like that. But I don't think I've ever actually seen. I imagine it's just a big dart where you're aiming for something on the grass, or you mark out a like set of circles on the grass and you try and throw something into it. So yeah, it's basically the same as darts. It must be a sport. Most sports and games are based on warfare or aspects of it. Yeah, it's all to improve. It's all to do with training and stuff like that, I suppose, isn't it? But also, I think, I mean, I don't know, but I imagine they stem from warfare or aspects of it. It's like challenges, manly challenges, that kind of thing. And that's why I think a lot of sports were for many years exclusively for men. But what was I going to say? Oh yeah, but then I think competition and stuff like that, encouraging competition between you and your fellow man, and it's like whether it's a test of strength or a test of skill. Yeah, it makes sense that if they're based on warfare, all aspects of it. Rounded corners, small balls. What? Oh, rounded corner, small balls. Oh, talking about snooker. I was like, why is Marcos talking about rounded corners and small balls? Hey up, just getting the little ones to bed. I'll be right with you. No worries, Robert Marshall. Join us when you can. I'll be on till around about 8 tonight, so around about another 35 minutes. Dave Dog, Gilbert and me? I don't think so. Maybe. Hey up, Piccolo. Hey up, Tom. I just read everybody's comments. I should really scan through the comments, find the ones that are actually directed at me, but I'm just communicating between yous all on behalf of you all. Mick, Benji and the Alien, not that one I don't think. Mog and Me maybe? Meg and Me? Something and Me. Mog and Me sounds like it's about a cat. Could be Mog and Me though. I'm sure it's something and Me. I'm not entirely sure though. Whoa, Dave, that's a blast from the past. Mick, Benji and the Alien. It rings a bell, that, though, but it's not the one I'm thinking of. I love that show. Mick, Benji and the Alien. I think that's like a kid's show from... Is it a British kid's show, that? I think it is. Blockbuster started in Dallas. Wow. It's the last one. Is it in Seattle now or somewhere? I seem to remember hearing that on Nerdist not too long ago. And it's like you can stay in it now as an Airbnb or something. You look like the sort of fellow that rented Ghoulies. Ghoulies? I don't think so. Goonies, maybe, not Ghoulies. VHS, them was the days. Them was the days. Yeah, and the cut buttons. Oh, they cut buttons off each other's clothes. Yeah, that's ringing a bell, that now. So going back to the button knickers. What are they called? What's it called? The button wars. The button wars. Did he say the button wars? Yeah. War of the Buttons. There we go. Going back to War of the Buttons. They cut buttons off each other's clothes when they cornered each other, I think, and stuff like that. What's the movie about a gang of kids in their neighbourhood? Anyone? Movie about... You mean the one I was talking about? If you mean the one I'm talking about, then it's The Sandlot. My best blockbuster rental was Schwarzenegger Total Recall. New one's naff. I think I started watching the new one, but I didn't get to the end of it. But yeah, the original was... I think that was probably out when I was about 7 or something like that, and I watched it. I watched like Aliens when I was about... Alien or Aliens, I'm not sure which. I watched one of the Alien films when I was about 7 or 8, something like that. The Sandlot is the one I was talking about. A gang of kids running around the neighbourhood, playing baseball, going to the local pool, getting up to all sorts of hijinks, and ultimately trying to save the skin of this lad who has lost the prized possession of his stepfather. Well, I think in the UK it was called The Sandlot Kids rather than The Sandlot. But if you're searching for it now, you just search The Sandlot, because that's how I found it. Because I was searching for The Sandlot Kids, but I couldn't find it anywhere. And then eventually I found it just as The Sandlot. Lawn darts is similar to javelin throw in the Olympics. Yeah, so lawn darts must be a sport then. If it's similar to javelin throw, and if there is a target, it's definitely a sport, isn't it? Even if it's just a game you play at kids' parties or something like that, it's got to be a sport. If it's basically two sports combined, darts and javelin. Sounds perfect to me. Perfectly like a sport to me. Definitely more of a sport than archery is, though, Mythos. Total Recall 1 was proper head masher. Caddyshack, awesome kids movie. The Sandlot, looking it up, looks like Bad News Bears. What? Oh no, I'm thinking of Bad Taste Bears, aren't I? I was like, what do you mean? I've never seen Bad News Bears. I'm going to have to Google that now. Bad News Bears. film, 1976. Yeah, so it's a baseball film, Bad News Bears. It's not, though. The Sandlot isn't like an organised baseball team. I don't think I've seen Bad News Bears, anyway. It's like kids playing in a abandoned lot behind some houses. So, yeah, it's like more like fun rather than competitive and team spirit and stuff. Like it is team spirit because they're all coming together to help this lad out that's made a big mistake. Bad News Bears is pretty good, says Marcos. But Marcos is a big fan of The Sandlot. So I'd suggest, based on that brief review, I'd suggest The Sandlot is miles better than Bad News Bears. Though I couldn't comment specifically and definitively. I'm just not around to watching the first Total Recall. Oh, I just got around to watching the first Total Recall movie last year. I remember being a kid and being sent to bed as soon as the triple boob scene came in. Yeah, I was never sent to bed, thankfully. I was sent to bed thankfully. Like, whoa! It's a bit exciting when you were a kid, maybe, but it's a bit weird, isn't it? My kids also love watching Labyrinth. A lot of like my contemporaries, a lot of people my age love watching Labyrinth. But I never watched it as a kid. I don't think I've ever seen it. So it's not one of the movies that I hold any particular fond memories of or for. What's that one with the fella from EastEnders and Mark Fowler from EastEnders? He's in a fantasy film, isn't he? Is it the one with the Cyclops and the horse or the unicorn or something? A Bad News Bears, like some kind of evil Care Bears. No, that's Bad Taste Bears, I think. Yeah, well, they sound like evil Care Bears, don't they, Bad News Bears? Or maybe the bears that deliver bad news. So they turn up at your door and they say, I'm really sorry. There's been an horrific accident. And then just give you the bad news instead of the police. When the police can't come, maybe that's what happens. There's been a terrible accident at the meatpacking factory. Legend, that's the one. Legend. Yeah, Legend, I think, is the film with with Mark Fowler from EastEnders. I think he was in it, wasn't he? They Call Me Piccolo joined us in the chat as well. I did spot you earlier, but then I straight skimmed past you when I was flying through the chat. Haven't watched Total Recall in ages. I remember the three boob scene creeped me out as a kid. Well, it's something that's different and unexpected, isn't it? So I'm not surprised if it creeps you out. I think some young boys would be scared just by 2 of them. Never mind 3. Crazy stuff. Legend is so good. Yeah, I'm going to have to go... Oh, Krull. No, it was probably Krull the Bard. Yeah, exactly. I think it was probably Krull that I'm thinking of. I think Mark Fowler was in it. I'm going to have a quick IMDb search now once I've painted this section. Imagine that. Getting a bit of paint on a miniature, eh? Yeah, so most of this top piece is going to be blue to assert my Death Skull clan status. Is anybody in the chat, Mythos, I'm looking at you, because I'd like to see what you can do. But is anybody in the chat entering the Defcember competition? I think it's Defcember in the 40k Orc community Facebook page and Discord. Because if you are, I know Essex will be. No, Essex. I did that the other week as well. I know Clint will be from Essex Boys. I hope he will be anyway. I think he was one of the winners in the November competition, wasn't he? So yeah, if anyone in the chat is entering the December competition and you'd like to share any plans with me, feel free to do so. I'm hoping I might get my super secret Christmas project that isn't really a secret, but it's involving a big conversion that I didn't necessarily intend for it to involve in the first place, but I kind of let my excitement run away with me and decided to make the task I've set out a lot more difficult and a lot more involved. So I'm hoping to get that finished, and then fingers crossed I'll be able to squeeze in a December entry for the 40k orc community, because I don't think I'm not sure. I don't think I've entered one of the community sort of build events yet, other than when it was mainly Scar doing the challenges. Oh yes, look at that, nice bit of blue. Oh, snazzy, proper snazzy. Legend was Tom Cruise and Tim Curry, right? Okay. I was watching a Let's Make It Orky stream not too long ago, and she didn't know who Tim Curry was. I was like, what? What? Someone was telling her. What? Oh, they were talking about Clue in the chat. Clue, which is American for Cluedo. So Clue is the board game Cluedo, but in America. Just a slightly different name. And there was a film based on the game, or roughly based on the game. There was a murder that happened in a house, I think, and I think Tim Curry was in that, and that's why somebody mentioned Tim Curry, and she was like, I don't know who that is. And I thought, I bet she'll know who it is if you say he was the voice of Nigel Thornberry, because she's about 10 years younger than me, and I watched cartoons that were for people much younger than me when I was probably about 18, something like that. I'd watch cartoons for 8-year-olds because I'm a bit of a simpleton. So I'd watch cartoons that I was way too old for, really. Or, you know, keep an eye on them at least, see what's going on in the cartoon world at the time. And yeah, I think she'd probably know who he was if you said he's the voice of Nigel Thornberry. But anyway, it's weird how different people won't know certain actors for certain roles, but they'll know them for something completely random that is yeah, that like somebody who knew them in the prime just wouldn't know them for. Oh, I didn't intend to start painting all this. I was gonna Google some. I was gonna IMDb. Oh yeah, I was gonna IMDb Krull, wasn't I? Was it Krull? Yeah, Krull. I just want to see if the guy that plays Mark Fowler in EastEnders is in it, because if he is, then it's the film I'm thinking of. And I think there was a unicorn in a swamp, or a horse in a swamp. And sometimes I think Warwick Davis was in it, but I think that's not the one I'm thinking of. I think I'm getting too many films mixed up. Like Willow. I'm throwing Willow into the mix as well, aren't I? I do this sometimes when I'm watching one film. It'll remind me of another film, and there was one not too long ago, and I think it's a Dennis Quaid film, but I'm not entirely sure. And it's about this guy that gets crash lands on a planet, and there's an alien on the planet as well, and then they sort of have to work together. It's a bit like the episode of one of my favourite episodes of. People are joining the chat, and I've noticed it, but I've just gone off onto a tangent of my own and started ranting away with my film theories. But it's a bit like an episode of The Next Generation. His arms wide. Someone at Tanagra, something like that. That I can't remember what the actual episode's called, but and I can't remember why I was saying this. Never mind. I'm just going to have a quick look to see if it's Krull that I'm thinking of. Krull. Krull, 1983. Is that Pete Postlethwaite? No, Freddie Jones. Ken Marshall, Lysa Anthony, Freddie Jones, Francesca Annis. Oh, it's Alan Armstrong I was thinking. That was Pete Postlethwaite. Bernard Bresslaw. Oh, he's the Cyclops. Liam Neeson's in it. I didn't know that. It's not Liam Neeson that's in it, is it? The one, Graham McGrath. No, it's not him. Ooh, come on. So many church. Ah, there we go. Todd Carty, that's his name. It is the one I'm thinking of then. So Todd Carty is the guy that plays Mark Fowler in it, or played rather Mark Fowler in EastEnders. Let's go scroll up the chat a little bit because I did spot some people pop in there. We've got the Kaiser in the chat. Howdy, folks. Howdy, Kaiser. They call me Piccolo. Haven't watched Total Recall in ages. I've read that one already. I completely... So I apologise to They Call Me Piccolo for skimming past your comment at first, and then I did exactly the same with the comment above you where the Kaiser joins us. So hail to the Kaiser. Bad News Bears based on a losing Little League sports team. Right. Willow, love the music from it. I don't remember the music from Willow. I'm going to have to go back and watch Willow because I saw it when I was a kid, but it's one of those films that I've never gone back to, really. I think the premise, isn't the premise Warwick Davis has to look after a kid, something like that. I think that's an oversimplification of that. I don't think you can call that a premise. Yeah, Krull. So Krull the Bard, thank you very much for that. It is that film I was trying to think of. Really, no Dan on Sunday? No me on Sunday? This Sunday? Sunday just gone? What happened on Sunday? I was up bright and early, no Dan. Right, I was trying to work out why that comment came in there. Yeah, well, there was Dan on Sunday, but it was a bit later on. I decided I should have notified people beforehand. That's my error. I do apologise. I decided I was going to try streaming a bit later. It was an absolute disaster. So you missed nothing. How long did I stream for? I'm not sure, but the start of it, like the first 10-15 minutes, felt like about 16 hours. I was having major technical issues because I wanted to do a bit of work on my super secret project that isn't that secret, but I'm not going to tell you any details about it. So I wanted to do a bit of work, but I didn't want to show too much. So I was just trying to do what I thought would be a simple thing and switch my face camera to my desk camera position. So the big bit where you see my hand now could have been my face camera, and the bit where you see my face here in this little box, that would have been my desk camera, so you can barely see what I'm working on, kind of thing. That was the idea, but I couldn't do that. It was like, it was frustrating me so much. Gar joined me, and a couple of other people joined me. I can't remember who, but I had like just major frustrations at the start of that. So if you do go back and watch it at all, don't, it's garbage, the stream. But if you do go back and watch it at all, make sure you skip the first 15 minutes or so, because that is utter trash, I've got to say. Yes, so back to the chat. Legend is so good. I need to go back and watch Legend, I think, as well, don't I? I watched The Princess Bride, which I think I watched a little bit when I was a kid, but I never really got into it. But I watched that not too long ago, and it's a good film. I enjoyed it. I do keep threatening to do film reviews on my Patreon as well, which I may get around to at some point, but I don't want to make any promises. And I'd be reluctant to call them reviews as well. It's just like a general how I felt about the film. Did I think it was a good film? What did I think could make the film better? Something like that. Or what do I think could make the film better? Willow was... That was it. Bowie was in Legend. Bowie was in Legend? So he's in Labyrinth and Legend. Bloomin' heck. Legend was Tom Cruise and Tim Curry. High Mythos. On the wrong account, I now realise the Nurgling stole my tablet to watch PJ Masks. Bad times. Bad times. The Nurgling rules your life. BRB says the Bard. No problem, mate. Pop back when you can. I'm sure you're back now. It's taken me that long to go through the chat. I've just spotted Bazza's joined us in the chat as well. Welcome, Bazza. Essex Boys join us in the chat as well. Welcome, Clint. Just been talking about your potential to enter the December competition. I'm hoping you'll be entering. I was saying I was hoping I'll enter. I'm hoping I'll have time to enter, but I'm working on another project that'll be revealed near the end of December. Fingers crossed, all going to plan. It's part of my cross the streams thing with Let's Make It Orky. So yes, but it's become a bigger project than I first thought it would be. I'm not bored of you, I swear. Just yawning. I'm not doing the challenge, says Marcus. I'm working on commandos and terrain piece. That's one thing I've always said about community challenges and projects. They're fun to take part in, and it's good to, if you want to sort of freshen up your hobby life a bit, and if you want like a fresh challenge, they're good. But I find a lot of the time, if you try and enter every one, it just distracts from the projects you're working on, especially if you've got limited hobby time anyway. I find they can distract from the projects you're working on. So I don't enter on a regular basis. I do try and enter every now and again into community challenges and projects and stuff, but yeah, I don't tend to enter on a regular basis, just for the fact that I want to get some of the projects I've started finished. So I have to work on what I'm working on sometimes, or a lot of the time. What was the one with Bowie? Labyrinth, I'm guessing you're thinking of, Gar, and I'm betting somebody's probably already said it in the chat before I got to this. Deathcember or possibly Dreadcember, says Mostly Zen. Thank you very much. Better dig out a looted Sentinel and get painted. Yeah, exactly. That'll be fantastic. I have a bunch of old cans and dreads to enter. A bunch? Wowzers. I was thinking, I've got an idea in my head. Now, you've seen my... I'm guessing is the Deathcember or Dreadcember competition. I'd say Deathcember, because Dreadcember sounds a bit too much like you're giving a big boost to Dreadwar Gaming to me. Not that I don't like him. I don't want that rumour to start. But I think Deathcember's a better name for me than Dreadcember. But I've got an idea. If you can enter cans, I'll enter a can. That's just done a weird thing in my head, that I've just said. Just made me think along another line. Not those lines. If you can enter a can into the competition, a killer can rather than a dread, then I might do that, because I've got an idea for a looted dreadnought becoming a squid can, in the same way my looted Redemptor became a squid dread. So a smaller version of the squid dread, basically, to become a squid can. And I think it'll bridge nicely between my killer cans and my killer gnaws. Killer gnaws, yeah, the ones from Kromlech that are squigs or gnaws with weapons arms on them. Yeah, Clint's watching whilst working. Fantastic stuff. That's why I do these streams, so you can just hobby along while I waffle away in the background. Some people seem to like that. Gar's been watching vids at work. You should be working at work, naughty man. Naughty man. I will admonish you greatly. I'm listening to Brutal Cunning to learn the story behind the orc that Clint made. Fantastic stuff. Excuse me. I'm up to less than 100 pages in still, but it's only less than 300 pages long, so I'm about a third of the way through. But I'll tell you what, these chapters, some of the chapters are about 7 pages long. But the pages, they've got so much text on them. It seems to take me ages to read them sometimes. I'm a slow reader anyway, I say that all the time on streams. But it seems to take me a ridiculous amount of time to read about 7 pages sometimes. So, yeah, it's a fantastic read so far. I definitely recommend it to other people that are maybe wanting to read an orc story for a change. It's a bit thick and fast, so if you don't like action-heavy literature, then maybe give it a miss. But I think because it's orcs, it works, and they break up all the orkiness with Imperium. The one I find hardest to read, I think it's because I like to create voices in my head, and sometimes I use them aloud. So sometimes I read it aloud. The one I find hardest to read is the Mechanicum bit. Because I like to try and voice it in my head as if it's the character that I'm reading. And there's 4... Excuse me. I really need to start doing these streams earlier, I think, because I'm always yawning. But I can't do them earlier because you lot won't be here to watch them. Yeah, so there's four main Mechanicum people, and they're always talking to each other and cutting each other off and stuff like that. But they're doing it in the new sphere, so it's not real vocalizations. I was going to say vocabularizations. It's not real vocalizations. So I tried to give them a voice in my head, and I read aloud like I said. But I always get the characters mixed up and like who's saying what when and stuff. I don't know why I do that, but I think it's because I've never been a good reader. I like to keep myself entertained by doing stuff like that, so it enables me to read more quick. Well, it doesn't enable me to read more quickly, clearly, because I just said I get all muddled up and stuff and have to reread it. But oh my giddy aunt! Right, like I said, Bazza joined us in the chat. Welcome, mate. Great listen, says Gar, about Brutal Cunning. Dan, you got a Discord server or just a Facebook group? Just a Facebook page, not even a group, because if you want to check out the Facebook page, there's a link in the description below, as there is a link to my Patreon as well, and my Instagram. Because I don't want the hassle. Well, let's say it how I see it. I don't want the hassle of a Discord server, because I feel like I may at some point in the future, but I feel like I'm not dedicated enough. I have enough trouble getting regular content out on my YouTube channel, so I feel like if I created a Facebook group, a Discord server rather, if I created a Discord server or a Facebook group for that matter, I'd just kind of what's the right word? I'd just kind of leave it to one side, and I'd kind of let it go to wreck and ruin. I can't think of any words that I want to say, but I'd kind of I don't know, but I wouldn't give it as much attention as it requires or deserves, I think, because a Discord group and a Discord server and a Facebook group, they're kind of like they're about creating community and someone leading them and stuff like that, and I don't think I'm that person to lead one of those things. I've always been reluctant to be an admin in Facebook groups and on servers on Discord. I'm in a couple of servers on Discord. I'm in the Let's Make It Orky server, which is called I might put a link in. I'll tell you what, I've got it on my thingy, my PC, so I can probably just put a link in the chat for you in a couple of seconds. Where is Discord? I have lost Discord. There it is. Right, bear with me, guys. Can I get a link to that? Can I just get a link off there? No. Oh, it's all being very slow and very frustrating. Right, how do I share a link to this group? I've no idea. I've never done this before, as you can probably tell. So I'm not going to do it. But I'm in, if you search for the 40k Orc Community Discord, I'm in that one. If you're already a member, then hey, there we go. We're in the same Discord group, server, whatever. And I'm in the Let's Make It Talky, it's called, the Discord server for Let's Make It Orky. It's called Let's, Let''S, Make It Talky, Talkie. Yeah. So, I don't know how to share these, so I really I don't know what I'm doing with Discord, to be honest. So that's another one of the reasons why I've never got into it, never set up my own Discord server, because I really don't know what I'm doing with it. I feel like I wouldn't give it the attention it needs. So yeah, that's why, there we go. I'm not the most technically adept person. Good afternoon from Levittown, PA. Levittown. PA is Pennsylvania though, right, I think. So I think I got that bit right. Maybe I didn't know. We'll see. Welcome, Duffy Makowski. Right, let's have a look back, see where I was up to. Right, oh, JR Blazing Arrow Joan is in the chat as well. Wow, this chat is flying tonight. There he is. They call me Piccolo. Oh no, wait a minute. I'm sure it was They Call Me Piccolo. Oh, there we go. Yeah, They Call Me Piccolo asking about Discord. So I was up to there. Yeah, he is, and Liam Neeson. Oh, Liam Nelson, that says. I think you mean Neeson. Legend had a unicorn in the swamp. Right, cool. Thank you, Mythos. On that topic, a friend of mine at a music quiz was amazing. Turns out she knows none of the originals, but they were all covered by Marilyn Manson. Fantastic stuff. That's that's the beauty of difference in age and stuff like that. I think you can somebody will know, when you've got a mixed age quiz team, somebody will know like a lot of information about a certain era, and then other people about other eras. It's fantastic when you get a group like that. I find on the bi-weekly, not twice a week, but once every 2 weeks, bi-monthly. But then does that mean once every 2 months, or does that mean twice a month? I don't know. So either bi-weekly or bi-monthly quiz night that me and my mates do. I find quite often me and the other lad on the quiz, we will often struggle on musical things because the girls on the quiz are all a bit older than us. So we often there's only 2 years between me and there's 5 years between me and the oldest woman on the quiz, and then oldest woman. I hope she's not watching. She won't be watching this, but it'd be funny if she's watching this and she's hearing I'm calling her an old woman. Yeah, she's like 40 or 41 or something, and I'm 35. So there's only 5 years between me and the oldest person on the quiz. And me and Chris sometimes struggle on some other some of the music stuff, but I'm not great on music anyway. The other day though, I managed to get 3 hits by Ronan Keating. I was like, yes. I got 3 by Whitney Houston. I swear, right? I was thinking about it for ages. I got 2 down pretty quickly. Wanna Dance with Somebody, or whatever it's called, and what was the other one? The one from The Bodyguard, I Will Always Love You. And then I was trying to think of one for ages. So then we got onto like the last round of the quiz or something, and then all of a sudden I just went, yes! Because I thought of one and I wrote it down. So I was well excited and happy with myself. And I won that quiz. I was like, yes. But it's only because we played Categories, which is like a boxed game. I don't know if they have it worldwide, but it's like a game where you have to come up with answers to various categories that you're given. And you're given, like in this instance, I think we were given 12 categories. And you're given a letter, and you have to come up with a word that starts with that letter for each of the categories you're given. So a type of car, for example, a type of vehicle, for example. With D, I said a DAF CF because it's one of the trucks I drive in work. So it might be a type of car, a boy's name, Daniel, this, that, the other, and then if you get a unique answer, so if no one else gets that answer, we got 5 points. And if you get the same answer as anybody else on the quiz, you only get 1 point. And I, on the first round of like 12 categories, I got a unique answer on 11 of the 12. So because I got 5 points on all of them, and they were all getting similar answers to each other on quite a few of the categories, I like sort of streaked ahead in that round. So that's how I won the quiz this week. Basically, luck. So many great Tim Curry gems. Legend, Three Musketeers, When I've Had Enough to Drink, Rocky Horror. Yeah, Rocky Horror is the main one, isn't it, I think? The movie Enemy Mine. Enemy Mine, that's the movie with Dennis Quaid, yeah. I was searching for it with, is it? Yeah, it's Dennis Quaid, isn't it? Yeah, not Randy Quaid, yeah. I was searching for it, I think after a stream or something like that, and I was trying to remember what it was called. I could not remember for the life of me. But eventually, I just Googled, I think I didn't know for sure if Dennis Quaid was in it at the time. So I think I might have Googled something like Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris crash lands on a planet, blah, 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 blah. But what I typed into Google, somehow deciphered it and gave me the film. Or like I ended up Googling like 80s alien movies and all kinds of stuff. And I went to loads of different websites and just went A to B. A to Z rather, of like alien movies from the 80s. I was like, no, it's not that, it's not that, it's not. But I probably saw Enemy of Mine right near the start and just went, no, it's not that, and went past it. But yeah, Enemy of Mine was the one. Thanks, I don't have to search for that now. Dennis Quaid makes friends with the alien dude. He's marooned with, exactly, yeah. I saw that one night. I think it was on Sci-Fi years ago. Just randomly one night when my mum and dad used to go out to the pub on a Saturday night or something, and I was, say, like 12, 13 years old, something. I'd just stay up late and watch old movies on Sci-Fi or on one of the movie channels, one of the Sky movie channels or something, and I just watched like whatever came on kind of thing. And I found that one night and I watched it and I was like, that's well good, that film. I really enjoyed it. And it was just one of those that sort of creep up on you, and you can get like enjoyment out of it when your expectations are down here and what you got was up here. Enemy of Mine, yes, cracking film, in my opinion. Evening Big Mac, evening JR Blazing Arrow. The Bard's back. Hey all, got to say, been playing new AC game, and it's fun roaming old England. Ah, cool. Excuse me. Oh, love the novel, Rivets and Daka says. The film was only the first half of the novel, so I'll have to maybe seek out that novel. Give it a good read. Enemy of Mine's a trooper. Mind watching that as a kid. Never realised there was an Enemy of Mine book. Might have to read that. Yeah, same. I'm in the same boat there, so it's one I'll have to seek out, I think. I should really make a note instead of just saying I'll seek it out, and I'll completely forget by the end of the stream. I've always loved Princess Bride, says Mythos, even as a kid. When I was a kid, even as a kid. Oh, when as a kid. Right, even as a kid. You should totally do more movie talk. I would become a Patreon to hear you talk about movies. What? Well then, if that's what you want, I might do it next year. I don't want to make any commitments. I enjoy movies. I've got a Cineworld Unlimited card, so I can see a few movies a month when the cinemas reopen. Cineworld's closed in the UK at the minute, but I think some of the other cinemas might be open again now. The trouble is the production companies not wanting to release the movies in the middle of a pandemic. Imagine that. So it means eat that brush. It means they've got nothing to show in Cineworld, nothing new anyway, or very little new. Because they're a massive chain cinema, they can't afford to be putting movies from the 80s on every week. Anyway, oh yeah, I wanted to get through the chat before I went back to the model, really. Oh, it's just gone 8 o'clock, guys. The stream is more or less ended now. I'll get through the chat and then I'll end the stream instead of getting back to painting. Thanks very much for joining me, everyone, by the way. It's been a lot of fun, this stream. Hopefully, I'll go for a bit longer next week. Maybe we'll see. We'll have to wait and see. And then my Christmas stream should be on like the 22nd of December or something. That'll be like my Christmas live stream. And I'll just work it out now for you. And then I might even set the stream up as a... Oh, what am I doing here? That's Saturday. Yeah, so Tuesday the 22nd of December, I'll do a Christmas stream. I'll have a snazzy Christmas shirt as requested by Kev from the Hobby Corner, who generously donated... I need to breathe in. Who generously donated on last week's stream, or Sunday stream? Sunday stream, I think. Yeah. Oh, so that was one of the bonuses of doing a stream at 3 o'clock on a Sunday instead of in the morning. I got a donation. It might have been on last week's Tuesday stream. I can't even remember now. But yeah, very generously donated, did Kev. I'm speaking weird again, aren't I? Right. So we thought December sounded best. Yeah. I think so. I agree with that. Hey up Duffy, welcome bro, says Gar. But it's like Gork and Mork. People will argue forever whether it's Defcember or Dreadcember. Well, I, for one, am firmly in the Defcember camp. Internet cut. Didn't hear if you read my comment about if you got a Discord server. Yes. So I've not got a Discord server. That's the answer. I am in a few Discord groups, so 40k Orc community. I'm not very active in that one yet, but I do intend to get a bit more active in Discord and sort of explore it a bit. That's one thing I'll say. I won't ever rule out getting a Discord server, but because I don't want the hassle of running it, at the minute I'm not in the mindset to get a Discord server. But I'm going to try to become a bit more active in the Discord servers that are around. The trouble with Discord for me is I don't see why people don't just use Facebook. I find it easier to just use Facebook, more convenient, it's more user-friendly, Facebook, in my opinion. Now, there's other things on Discord where I think Discord's basically more like what are them things called? Chat rooms and stuff that you used to have all over the internet. But I was never in chat rooms, so I don't understand how they work. So therefore, I don't really understand how Discord works properly yet. But when I get to know it a bit more, hopefully, and become a bit more active in certain ones that I'm in, I might at some point in the future set up my own channel server. Potentially when I start Twitch streaming, if I start Twitch streaming, because I used to say I don't see the point in Twitch, but I'm contemplating Twitch streaming now. If I do Twitch streaming, it might be a bit more X-rated, like late night Big Mac, that kind of thing. Not actually late at night though, because my bedtime's like 10 o'clock at the latest. So, but maybe like I'll do a late night stream on a Saturday, something like that. But then I wouldn't be able to do my Sunday morning stream, would I? Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to rethink that. But yeah, it might be a once a month thing. It might be alternate weeks or something like that. But at some point in the future, I'm looking at setting up a Twitch, and at some point in the future, potentially setting up a Discord. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe talking about movies more on Patreon. Do a movie hangout. So because I just talk about movies on these as well, don't I? But talk specifically about certain movies where I sort of give my thoughts on certain movies. Wow, I'm going way past this 8 o'clock that I said I was going to go to. Oh, where have we gone? Right, so back to the Discord one. Definitely Grotmas, though. Grotmas? Grotmas? What are you talking about? Grotmas, you little git. I really got into audiobooks this year. I can listen while I'm painting, driving to work, walking the dog, cooking, or doing housework. That's the beauty of an audiobook, isn't it? My issue is my mind wanders, so I'm not very good at listening to an audiobook. Podcasts, I don't mind. I like podcasts more because you don't really have to listen to a podcast because it's not like one continuous narrative from start to finish, typically speaking. So you can it doesn't really matter if your mind drifts, but with an audiobook, to know what's going on, you've kind of got to listen to it. And because my mind drifts, I'd rather read it, because when I'm reading the words, so occasionally my mind will drift and I'll have to reread a sentence about 62 times, but for the most part, my mind doesn't drift as much. Dreadwar Gaming joining us in the chat. What software am I using? Welcome, by the way, Dread. The software I am using is just Streamlabs. Is there any problem with it? Or no, I've only dropped five frames, and that's right at the start of the stream. So I'm guessing you're just asking out of curiosity. Mythos loves audiobooks. Piccolo, it's 40k Orc community Discord page. Love an audiobook. Epic Narrator is going to do part 3 of my Orc story on YouTube, on his YouTube channel this month. I'll have to is Epic Narrator the one where some people really like his voice and some people really don't like his voice? And I think I gave it a listen when somebody mentioned it in a chat or in someone else's live stream, and I listened to it a bit and I wasn't a major fan, but I might have to go and check him out because I could be getting him mixed up with someone else. Oil gits, says Dread. Looking forward to that, Tom. What, Tom? Oh, the Epic Narrator thing, probably. Yeah, so I'm just using OBS. Mr. Dread. Hey up, Squigger, bro, Dread, Clint. Hi all. Just hang out on the Orc community Discord with us, Dan. You mean on the just on the live video hangouts and stuff? I may do at some point. I do intend to become more active on various Discord a couple of Discord servers that I'm a member of, especially when I do want to enter Deathsember. Oh my god, my mind's been corrupted by Dreadsember. I'm firmly in the camp of Deathsember here. Don't make that mistake. Don't be mistaken. I am firmly in the camp of Dreadsember. Deathsember! No! Oh, what a disaster. What a disastrous way to end the stream. So I may do at some point in the future. Every pub quiz team needs a young lass. Okay. I'm not going to ask why. And an old geezer. Yeah, PA is Pennsylvania. Levittown is a correct pronunciation. Fantastic, mate. Just gone back to work full time again. Gonna be a shock to the system. Wow. When you're off for any period, it's or you're doing reduced hours for any period, and then you go back to full time. It is a shock to the system, isn't it? Nah, man, it's Dreadsember. It's Dreadsember, says Dreadwar Gaming. What a surprise! What a surprise! He wants it to be called Dreadsember. He's trying to hijack the event, isn't he? For his own nefarious purposes. Great show tonight, my brother. Thank you very much, Mythos. Very kind of you to join me again and be so active in the chat. There's so many more comments. I'm never going to get to the end of the chat. I want it to be done at 8 o'clock. Right, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to go full screen on the chat. That didn't work. It's still in the same size box. There we go. It's worked now. And then I'm going to scroll down a little bit quicker. Where was it up to? Great stream tonight, my brother. There we go. Mostly Zen, I was thinking the same thing, Gar. Discord is nice because you can speak to people like a phone call. You can on Facebook as well, to be fair, though. That's, I'm not saying... Well, I don't know what I'm saying. But yeah, you can on Facebook now, to be fair, on Messenger and stuff anyway. I was full-time August, September, then furloughed for the second lockdown. Oh, man. Let's scroll that down to the bottom because we're more or less at the bottom other than... Oh, you know what? I've gone too far. Right, so I think it's a lot of work for Skarner to run the Discord. Kyle, aka Gearguts, is an admin that helps sort it out. Yeah, so like I said, for me, if I was going to do a Discord, I think it'd just be too much work for me to keep on top of. I barely keep on top of my YouTube channel and my, making sure I put enough content like content going on, make sure there's content going on Instagram every now and again and stuff like that, and onto various Facebook pages I'm a member of. I don't really want to add another social media to it, especially if it's just the same content I'm putting on there as I'm putting on the other ones. It seems kind of pointless almost. I have been on Discord with Mostly Zen a few times. Awesome. Yeah, it's been fun to talk to people on Discord. So little time. Would love to hang out more on Discord. Great stream. Cheers, Dan and all. Thank you very much for joining me, Clint. I was talking to your fellow Texan Orc, Disson, on Discord last night. Plus, I'm just reading everyone's comments, aren't I? I don't need to read all these comments. They're not addressed to me. I should start a rule where I won't read the comment unless it's got at Big Mac Danskull in it, and then that way I might actually skip most of the comments, and then I'd have read through them in about 6 seconds. The one comment that's actually addressed to me. Love the Discord, great chatting hobby. Deadsember, yeah, that's what it's going to be called if I get my way. Danskull Sember, never. Deathsember, yeah, Deathsember all the way, mate. It's an Orc Civil War. Marcus Sainated Dread. Keep talking, guys. He doesn't read fast anyways. I definitely don't read fast. But guess what? I'm only 3 comments away from the end, so unless you type a load more comments now, that actually makes sense and I want to read, I'm not going to read them. Oh no, someone started putting at Big Mac Danskull. It's the rascal. It's the rascal himself, Dreadwar Gaming. You need to read faster, Dan. Let's keep him busy then, lol. Love the vid, Clint. Cheers, bud. My pleasure. Humma humma harma harma. Goofa goofa waffa woo. Well, on that epic note, I'm going to call it a night, guys. Thanks very much to all who joined me in the chat. I'd try and go through a massive roll call. But, you know, there's been too many of you here tonight. We have had a few notable new additions, though, as far as I'm aware. I've not noticed Duffy Makowski before, so, again, welcome, and hopefully you can join us on the next one again, Duffy. They call me Piccolo, second-time commenter, I think. Long-time lurker, relatively new commenter, or chatter. And, yeah, there's been a few in there. JR Blazing Arrow popped in again, mostly Zen. Riverson, Daka, Frost and Fist. If I miss your name out, the Bard, then I do apologise. I'm just flying through them here. Dreadwar Gaming, of course. Marcos Castellanos, Gary Knox right at the start. Let's scroll back down. We had Board Gamer Spud in for a minute as well. Flying back down to the bottom now. Underdog Peyton popped in for a second. He may indeed still be watching, and if you are Underdog, get some sleep, mate. Right, brilliant evening, guys. Thanks to everyone. Great stream, me. That's from Rivets, by the way. We'll see. No worries, mate. If you can't make it, that's fine. But hey, it's cool to have more people here. The more people go, the longer I stay on for, even if I don't want to stay on for longer. So thanks very much to everyone who's joined me. I got a bit of blue on this, I suppose, didn't I? Yeah, I got a bit of blue on it. I was hoping to get a bit more done than that, but thanks very much to everyone who joined me. If you'd like to help support the channel, don't forget you can do so live on stream with a super chat in a future stream if you'd like. And also, there's a couple of links in the description down below. One is to my Patreon, where you can donate at 3 various levels, the rewards of which are explained in the Patreon. The highest tier will help you sponsor a shirt if you pledge at that level 2 months in a row. And there's also a couple of links down in the description below to my Instagram and Facebook page. Who knows, maybe in the future there'll be a link to a Discord group as well, a Discord server. I don't even know the terminology. That's how bad I'd be at Discord. Come on, let's face it, guys. Anyway, we'll call it there, guys. And girls, if there's any girls watching. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you on the battlefield.